Did you know that every Uber driver in the UK can now access 20 hours of free childcare? What does this reveal about the industry's struggles with gender inclusion? Stick around as we dive into the hidden truths behind this bold move and discover how Uber's initiative might reshape the future of driving. In a groundbreaking development, Uber UK has rolled out a new scheme that offers its drivers 20 hours of free childcare, specifically designed to attract more female workers to their platform. This initiative, available through a nannying and babysitting app called Bubble, is part of Uber's ongoing effort to transform its driver demographics. Andrew Brem, Uber UK's general manager, emphasized the company's goal of increasing the representation of women within its traditionally male-dominated driver pool. However, it's important to note that Uber's initiative hasn't come without its critics. The Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain, or IWGB, has slammed the program as nothing more than a cynical PR stunt. They argue that it distracts from the fundamental issues drivers face, like insufficient pay. In their eyes, a real solution would involve raising wages, enabling drivers to earn enough to take paid time off with their families. This sentiment reveals a broader systemic problem within the gig economy, where growth and shareholder profit frequently overshadow fair compensation and worker welfare. Historically, this pattern of exploitation is no stranger to the gig economy. Uber's business model promotes flexible work for drivers, but often at the expense of decent earnings and job security. This situation starkly contrasts traditional employment, where workers enjoy benefits like paid leave and healthcare. However, Uber's focus on incentivizing female drivers with childcare highlights a persistent gender division in labor markets. Women typically bear more childcare responsibilities, which often sidelines them from industries like taxi driving, mainly due to inflexible hours and a lack of family support. Ironically, while Uber's offer of free childcare aims to address this issue, it may still gloss over the deeper problem of economic exploitation. Indeed, initiatives like these echo past corporate attempts to implement cosmetic fixes that divert attention from systemic issues. For example, welfare to work programs from the late 20th century provided childcare assistance as a means to alleviate poverty for women without changing the foundational economic structure. Though these programs superficially addressed immediate needs, they ultimately failed because they overlooked the need for wage reforms. Similarly, while Uber's free childcare might alleviate some short-term pressure, it falls short of addressing the chronic financial instability faced by drivers. After all, when Uber's financial disclosures point to many drivers struggling with reduced earnings, can a childcare benefit truly make up for the loss of their wages? Furthermore, Uber's focus on growing demand as a strategy to boost driver earnings starkly contrasts the reality of a saturated market where competition for limited opportunities is fierce. As Brem himself acknowledged, earnings saw a temporary spike during the post-lockdown period when demand exceeded supply. Yet, as that market stabilizes, drivers find themselves again grappling with diminishing returns. In this light, Uber's childcare initiative appears less about uplifting workers and more about masking the company's reluctance to provide adequate compensation for the labor drivers deliver. Could this free childcare agenda be obscuring the true nature of Uber's exploitation of its workers? It certainly raises eyebrows. Looking ahead, we must question the sustainability of Uber's business model, especially against the backdrop of a growing wave of labor activism in the gig economy. Will initiatives like these be sufficient to satisfy workers who are taking to the streets to demand fair pay and improved conditions? Or are they merely temporary band-aids intended to quell rising dissatisfaction? Given historical patterns of corporate negligence and the widening wealth gap, it's all too easy to predict that Uber's drivers, particularly the most marginalized, will struggle to navigate the weight of systemic inequality. As long as platforms like Uber prioritize growth at any cost over equity and justice, meaningful change seems painfully elusive. In my view, while Uber's offer of 20 hours of free childcare may seem like a progressive step to attract female drivers, it ultimately shines a spotlight on the systemic injustices woven into the fabric of gig economy structures. It's striking that instead of tackling the root causes of financial instability faced by drivers, such as low pay and long working hours, Uber opts for a superficial solution that merely obscures deeper issues. This raises a critical question about the intentions of corporate giants. Are they sincerely invested in the well-being of their workers, or simply trying to enhance their public image? And as we reflect on the implications of such policies, we must ponder, how many more families will endure the burden of exploitative labor practices before we collectively demand a fundamental change in the system? If you found this information eye-opening, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more insights, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.